Hello again. We're here with Douglas Graham, Dr. Douglas Graham, at the 2002 International Living and Raw Festival. He's the president of Healthful Living International. And I'd like to ask you a few questions. Where are you originally from, Doug?
I grew up on the Jersey Shore in a town near Asbury Park, right on the beach. Lived there for 20 years.
And what exactly do you do?
What I do is teach people how to improve their health so that they can improve any aspect of their life that they're trying to reach. So whether that's world-class performers who want to perform better as athletes, whether that's actresses and models and opera singers who want to be on cue and be at their best mentally all the time, whether that's just people who have lost their health and hope to regain it. Essentially, I'm a lifestyle coach.
Okay, and what first inspired you to become a raw foodist?
Actually, I sort of backed into raw food. I couldn't resist it. From 7th grade, when I learned that in health class that fruits and vegetables were so nutritious, all through high school our coaches told us to make sure and eat enough fruit. In college as a health major, learning the nutritional benefits of fruits and vegetables, and even in medical school learning again that fruits and vegetables were the most nutritious foods, I just kept increasing the amount of fruits and vegetables in my diet. Eventually it became obvious that fruits and vegetables were best for us, that I might as well just keep increasing the percentage of them until I was eating nothing else. And I tried it as an experiment that worked so well 25 years ago that I just couldn't stop.
Were you a vegetarian before you became a raw foodist?
Yes, I was. I was a vegetarian for 8 years and a vegan for another year before going raw.
And how many years have you been raw?
I'm now in my 25th year.
So, have there been any obstacles in making a transition for you personally to the raw diet?
There were some obstacles for sure, although I always preferred to keep my focus totally on the goal and really didn't notice the obstacles so much, but occasionally I had to deal with them. There was an obstacle of not being able to consume enough food to get the calories to maintain my physical lifestyle. I was a professional athlete and needed a fair amount of fuel. There was an obstacle of really not knowing which foods to eat and which ones not to eat, so sometimes I chose too much of the wrong thing and not enough of the right things. There was certainly social issues, social graces, which I think I had to learn anyway, but I had to learn them again to be a successful raw fooder, to make people feel at home when they came to me and for me to deal with social situations without feeling intimidated. There was even social issues, there was even the obstacles of really trying to learn something that, as far as I know, had never been done. In the world of sport and athletics, I didn't know of anybody that was a raw fooder, so I was trying to create a model where there was none to follow.
And what are some of the personal benefits that you've noticed from the raw diet in your life?
Well, I think some of the ones that I've noticed a lot of benefits, but the ones that mean the most to me, probably first and foremost, is the mental clarity. I've never been able to have the kind of mental clarity and focus that I have when I'm on raw foods. In other words, I'm more alert, I'm more in touch and tune with my emotions and my feelings. I definitely can think more clearly, remember more than I ever have, be able to draw more words out of my vocabulary than I've ever been able to do, remember details, keep track of logistics in a much more complicated logistical day than I ever could without pad or pencil or any kind of memory assisting device. Certainly my health improved in every aspect. Every single part of my fitness regimen has improved now at the age of 49 compared to what I had at the age of 19 or 29 when I had not yet gone raw, was just a vegetarian, or was going raw. I'm doing better today at 49 than I was then physically. The little things like whether my skin breaks out, no it doesn't anymore, or my hair stopped falling out, or that the dentist told me whatever you're doing, keep doing it, don't come back. The little things like perfect digestion every single time, perfect elimination every single time, less need for sleep, more energy in spite of that. These things are sort of side benefits to me, but they all, they add up to a condition where the benefits are so huge that it really doesn't matter if it's challenging or not. The return on investment makes it so worth it that I would never consider eating any other way than raw, knowing that the ethics of raw are so far superior to the ethics of cooking.
Okay, on a day-to-day basis, what would you say your personal diet consists of?
On a day-to-day basis, I tend to eat 2 meals a day, although sometimes I'll eat 3 if I'm being more active. Generally, if I eat 20 meals a week, 16 of those meals are just fruit. I just sit down, have one kind of fruit till I'm full, and I'm done, I move on. The other 3 or 4 meals a week are going to be meals that make sure that I filled all the fruit that I care for, so that at the end of the meal I don't have that craving for something sweet or something heavy. And then I'm going to have as much vegetables, salad, maybe a few nuts and seeds or an avocado until I'm sure I'm done.
Okay, finally, before we go, I'd like for you to say anything else that you want to add, or anything about yourself or your experience, or just something that you'd like to share.
Well, I think it's important to understand that simplicity is the key to good digestion. That when the meals are complex, digestion, it becomes challenged. It's easy to over-challenge digestion or overwhelm it to a point where poor digestion, poor absorption, poor assimilation, poor nutrition happens simply if we're not eating relatively few or only one ingredient at the meal. At the same time, tremendous variety in the course of your diet is essential for optimum nutrition, and I know that even though I eat a very simple diet on any given day, in the course of a year it's important to have variety, and I'll match my variety on a year-round basis with anyone's variety, eating over 200 different fruits, 50 different vegetables, several dozen nuts and seeds makes for an extremely varied diet. In the course of the year there's something new coming season every week. I think that simplicity and variety are 2 important keys in optimum digestion. I certainly encourage anyone that's even thinking about raw to take a summer 90 days and do a raw experiment. I'll guarantee them at the end of that experiment that if they don't like the results, they can always go back to raw. I mean, they can always go back to cooked. It'll still be there for them. It's funny because everybody knows the benefits of fruits and vegetables to some degree, and yet we don't see that we deserve the best. And fruits and vegetables, we know, are the best, the healthiest, the most nutritious, the best tasting of all the foods we could ever eat. I think that the real solution for most people attempting to go raw and struggling is that they need to learn how to love themselves more and how to raise their motivation level more. Motivation is raised by learning more about the benefits of raw food, the detriment of cooked, and by creating an awareness of their own reasons for wanting to do it. What are their needs? And as we raise motivation level, which is part of what I help people to do, they can find that it becomes easier and easier to do a raw experiment. Most people, once they've tried raw, they will not go back because the results speak for themselves, and I encourage everybody to give it a fair shot.
Is there any way that people can contact you by way of website or some other way?
People can always contact me at the Dr. Doug Graham site. They have to spell out the word doctor, but it's drgraham.cc, and they can always find me at drgraham.cc. They can also go to the healthfullivingintl.com site, healthfulllivinginternational.com site, and they can always reach me from there as well.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
It's totally my pleasure. Thanks a lot.